This is a Glass Box Media podcast.
I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
Okay, so I have something for the top of this episode, and it's very topical to our podcast on a variety of fronts. So I was just going through Jezebel. Occasionally, I like to just scroll through there.
Yeah.
And this headline, woman who says she went on date with Idaho killer suspect.
No. Oh,
yeah.
No.
Okay, so there's this woman, her name is Haley. She got on TikTok and she said that she went on a date with Brian Koberger, who's the guy who's suspected of killing 4 University of Idaho students last year.
Wow.
Now, I am aware of this story on the periphery.
Thank you. I see.
My mental, where I've been mentally has not been in a place where I'm like, I just don't feel like I can deep dive into this because I feel like it's going to fuck with my mental health.
Yeah. I'm not prepared for that.
I know enough about it. Yeah. And it's terrifying.
Yeah. So, there's some details in this article as well. So she decided to post because she had written some comments underneath a story about him on like her local newspaper, like did a story on him. And so she had like written some comments about how she'd gone on a date with him. And then she was like, people were making all kinds of assumptions. So she was like, let me just get on TikTok and like tell
the story.
Yeah. Set the record straight. So she said that they matched on Tinder. They talked for a couple of hours and then they went to the movies. And she said like everything was pretty normal. Like he was like kind of shy, but like everything was pretty normal. But then they got back to her dorm. They were like sitting outside talking, whatever, like in his car. And then she was like, okay, well, I'm going to go up. And he was like, okay, I'll go with you.
No.
Ooh, yeah.
So
thank you.
he invited himself like into her apartment. And then she says like once he got into her apartment, he was really like pushy with her. And she was like, it wasn't scary. It was just like, I thought that he was like being really, really like clingy. Like, but it was weird because he hadn't been like that before. And he just kept saying like, I just want to spend more time with you. Like, I just want to spend more time with you. And he kept trying to like touch her.
Oh.
And so when she called him out and she was like, dude, like, stop touching me. Like, I feel like you keep trying to touch me. Then he got really weird and was like, I'm not touching you. I didn't touch you. Like, just really like gaslighting her.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. So she eventually was like, okay, I need to go use the bathroom. And so then she went to the bathroom and he followed her to the bathroom and she had to shut the door. He stood outside the door.
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
And so she said that she pretended to throw up in the bathroom because she knew that he could hear her so that she had an excuse to like get him out of her apartment.
The gymnastics that you have to go through as a woman sometimes to get out of things.
Yeah. I mean, and she said like, she's like, I wasn't really scared, but I feel like that happens even if I'm not really scared of somebody.
Yeah.
I still will sometimes try and like come up with reasons to let them down easy just because someone might seem not physically threatening to you, but they're giving you weird vibes and you don't know what's going to happen if you say something because like completely normal seeming guys can flip.
Oh, 100%.
Out of nowhere. You know what I mean? So she gets him out of her apartment and then she said that he texted her that she had good birthing hips.
Oh my God.
After that, what you want to text.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then she said, it was not even the creepiest or scariest Tinder date I've been on.
Well,
which we know.
Yeah.
Like on this podcast, it's like this shit that we hear on this podcast. But she did end it, you know, because she got a lot of like, I don't know. I mean, I guess we do know when you open yourself up to the internet, people always come out with their opinions. Trolls come out just being nasty for no reason.
Yeah.
So she got a lot of people, on there criticizing the fact that she let him inside.
Listen, what the fuck, dude?
Like in the year of our Lord 2023,
Jesus
are you
Christ.
kidding me? Like you're really, we're sticking with this same old bullshit. Like, why'd you let him inside?
No, it's total glass houses because we've talked about it on this podcast. We've all made decisions that after the fact, you're like, oh, I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Like we all have. And we've also like chosen, like maybe, you know, maybe it's safer or better. We feel more empowered when we're on our own space. That sort of, like, just don't make comments about it. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand why people always have to have an opinion, be like, well, you did it wrong. You should have blah, blah, blah. Cause you're like, you weren't there, bro.
You have
like,
no idea.
And these
what
are
you're
the
even talking
same
about.
people who, if something had happened to her and she'd been like his first victim, they would have been like, this poor, sweet, innocent woman. But because like she survived to tell about it, they're like, well, here's all the other things that you could have done, should have done. Like, you know what I mean?
Like you haven't already played that game in your own head for the past however many months.
Yeah.
You've known about this guy.
A man who was in your apartment giving you the ick.
4 people at
murdered
least.
4 people.
Yeah, that we know of.
Because
who knows what else he's done at this point? Like somebody who could just kill 4 innocent people.
Well, yeah. I mean, and this article goes on to say, you know, he was a PhD student studying criminology, and he had made some posts trying to seek participants, in quotes, for a survey on how emotions and psychological traits influence decision making when committing a crime. The survey also asked how individuals, quote, prepared for their crimes, how they would approach a target before making a move, and their thoughts and feelings throughout the experience. So like he clearly, like a very sick mind, was studying criminology, like all of that stuff. And she went on to say basically like, you should always listen to your gut. She's like, he was giving me the creeps.
Yeah.
I knew he was giving me like as soon as like the date went okay, but as soon as he got inside, he was giving me the creeps, you know? And so just moral of the story, always listen to your gut. Yeah,
absolutely. And I feel like a lot of women are really good, or at least I know I am like a master. I am like Serena Williams of the game of coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every time, anytime anything happens, and it doesn't even have to be
anything
this, like
small.
anything.
Even. I went to the grocery store. I actually should have said past this guy on that side so he didn't, you know, make eye contact with me. I mean, the stupid things that we second guess ourselves on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just, and like she said, this is not even the creepiest date she went on. So I mean,
right, exactly.
When you're like scaling and you know like the like levels of like
she probably got him out of her apartment and was like yeah, that was weird, like he was a creep, and like that was probably it for her until she heard about what happened later, you know what I mean? And like that's what's scary about it is we've definitely had stories on this podcast with people who are that creepy or creepier, like you know what I mean? And so it's just like
the guy with the Ghostbuster song.
You really
seriously,
you really just don't know, and it makes it very scary for people out there. Like it's just like, man, it's brutal out there. Be careful.
But trust your gut. Yeah, for sure is really good advice. It doesn't matter. I have second guessed when I've had like gut opinions about a situation, not even involving like dating or whatever, but better safe than sorry. You know what I mean? Don't get on that plane. You know? Don't let that guy up in your place or whatever. Just so what if someone's offended? So what if you're out a couple $100? Just trying to learn how to listen to myself more, I think is a good thing.
I think we've really diminished the importance of intuition.
Yeah.
Like we absolutely have. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I feel like a lot of people maybe equate intuition with like women, like it's like a feminine trait.
Yeah.
You know
it's
what I mean? Like a women's intuition.
Yeah.
Right.
Throw you in the river, see if you sink.
So it's very like woo woo and like, you know, and because of that, we've made it this thing that's not real because it's like somehow in your head. But that feeling is real and it's universal and it exists for a reason. Like it's part of your like evolutionary makeup and like part of your biology that you have intuition. Like there's a reason why. And even if your intuition isn't spot on 100% of the time, better safe than sorry. Like there's a reason why you have it. So like it's not magic.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is terrifying.
No doubt.
Speaking of this is somewhat related. the thing is making the rounds that I've seen on TikTok recently is like Bill Maher, I guess, was recently talking about how difficult it is to be a lonely man.
Oh, you heard?
Oh no, that's what I was waiting for. Oh no.
No, but it's just like,
Listen
you know,
to our next shorty for that to make sense for you.
Exactly. It's you know, because like women who have college degrees overwhelmingly tend not to date men with no college degrees. And right now we outnumber men like 60% to 40% on education, on all of these different things. And I think it's just the rise of independent single women who don't need men.
I mean,
so
to be alone. I'd be happy to be alone.
Yeah,
you
me
know.
too.
I mean, not that I wanted like
right, but I understand
Chris
what you mean.
to be alone,
but
like
almost every woman,
almost
every woman I know that like we're friends with, makes more money than her man. Yeah. Almost everyone.
Yeah.
So,
actually, don't know anyone otherwise.
I have some question marks in my head, but for the most part, I mean, it's either very similar or it's they're making more, and that's fine. Like there's no rules that say like women shouldn't make more than men in my book, at least.
Absolutely not.
But the truth is that like you used to get away with shitty behavior,
right?
Because women couldn't own land or have a credit card,
that's right,
or do anything without being attached to a man. They couldn't have their own money and they couldn't have their own lives, and so.
Which is why they want us to go back to them good old days.
We needed you to support us, so we put up with all your bullshit.
So yeah, I think a lot of the violence that we're seeing now is just like this tantrum or something, this reaction to not having the like control anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
So Bill Maher was whining about that? Or?
Yeah, I guess. I just saw it on TikTok, but I thought it like relayed into this well in that, you know, it's just trust your gut and also like be okay with not dating.
Bill
or
Maher
not
gives Bill's bad names.
He's a tool. I mean, listen, there was a time when I think he served a purpose for people, and like I get it, he was like a voice amongst whatever, but he's really fallen in this bucket of just like
mundane bullshit,
like bad opinion, like just he's like and I know he's probably like an elder Gen X, but he feels like a like quote unquote liberal boomer.
Yeah.
Like that's the vibe. He's got like he's a boomer with like
he might be a boomer.
Slight left-leaning tendencies.
Only slight.
But still believes in like
dumb shit.
Real dumb shit. Like
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, we could lighten it up a little bit. And what do you say we fuck, marry, kill our favorite Bills?
Yes.
I'm gonna go Bill
Bills.
Murray on.
Oh,
sorry, I knew I had to get in right away. I
Man.
gotta swoop in there.
All right, I gotta look it up. I was like, we could do Bill Paxton.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, we love him.
I love Bill Paxton.
He,
I know, still love him.
Gosh, famous Bills. We just talked
Bill
about
Skarsgård.
Well, I was just gonna say we can't.
Okay,
Bill Pullman.
We absolutely can throw him in there.
I'm fucking definitely doing Bill Pullman.
Is
Bill
he
Pullman,
the While We Were Sleeping? Oh,
Yes.
Bill Pullman is so
love him.
hot.
Still hot.
And he's still hot, and he still looks good.
Yeah.
And I mean, he looks good, Gray.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I think he's a fine wine.
I watch The Sinner, and I'm like, nah. Every now and again, I watch a show with like an old guy in it, and I'm like, I'm feeling like I need to do some work on myself. You know what I mean?
Hater, what the fuck?
I know we've done him too many times.
Okay.
I mean,
we've never done Bill Skarsgård. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No, okay. So we got Bill Murray, Bill Pullman. I've got one for you guys.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Bill Burr.
No.
Oh, okay.
Billy Zane.
I love it. You know what?
Billy Zane.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Look, Cal was a piece of shit in Titanic.
Wow.
Obviously, we know this. I thought he was cute.
But Gen Z icon or Gen X icon.
Yeah.
Be honest.
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane was.
Billy Zane.
Bill Murray, Bill Pullman, Billy Zane.
Oh God.
Unlike the others, I don't know that I think Billy Zane has aged as well.
Show me.
I don't. I mean, just
let's see a recent.
I feel like he's had some work done.
Those
lips don't look like
his lips were always pillowy. The hat is not my favorite.
Yeah. Oh, that's a better picture.
He looks like Andrew Tate.
Oh. Oh no.
I mean, that's really mean to Billy Zane. He doesn't look just like Andrew. Like, okay.
Listen to your friend Billy Zane.
Actually, but I actually like that he leaned into the bald though.
Yes.
Because so many guys in that generation especially like got the plugs and stuff like that, and he didn't.
Ooh, okay. All right. I can get down on that.
Ugh.
Cassie and I are like, I don't know.
He kind of looks like he always has eyeliner on.
He does, but that's what I liked about him in Titanic. He's got those thick lashes. He's got real thick, dark lashes.
Okay.
I just don't think he's aged as well.
Well, I mean, I gotta say, Bill Pullman's
I love Bill Pullman.
Hottest for me of the three.
He is and always
love Bill
was.
Pullman.
Like in While You Were Sleeping, how cute is he?
Oh, a
peak,
adorable.
He's so cute.
And I didn't even like that movie.
I know,
And
but like,
he's
I love
still
him. I
so
know.
hot.
He's so cute. Oh, this is a tough one. Who the fuck do you marry?
Bill Pullman.
Well, I mean, you marry Bill Pullman, but like, what the other two are the toughest, right? Like,
are you gonna fuck Bill Murray?
No, you can't kill Bill Murray.
Can't kill
I
Garfield.
think I'm gonna marry Bill Murray.
Oh,
I actually think that's okay for you. I feel like that's right.
I'm gonna fuck Bill Pullman.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You're gonna kill Billy Zane.
Sorry.
All right.
Sorry, Billy.
Shit.
I'm marrying Bill Pullman.
Okay.
Seems like chill. I can listen to him. I want him to read me
Yes.
a like story before going to bed. His voice is so like gravelly.
Yeah.
Has such gravitas to it.
Especially in The Sinner because he's playing this like dark. Because I feel like he always played kind of like quirky romantic leads.
Yeah.
And like in The Sinner, he's like this tortured
Dark,
guy. Yeah. And you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello. Yeah. And then I'm going to fuck Billy Zane.
Yeah.
Oh, and you're gonna kill Bill Murray?
Yep.
Good for you.
Yep.
Good for
I hope you
you.
sleep tonight. I hope you can sleep tonight.
Billy Zane seems like he's fun. Doing those Zoolander things and stuff like that. He seems to have a sense of humor about himself, that he doesn't take himself too seriously. And he just also seems like he's got something.
Yeah, you got a vibe
Yeah.
from him.
Well, I think that the fact that he has been seemingly so chill about aging makes me feel like, he's probably pretty.
He's also never been like a leading man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Here's
but
the
he
thing.
seems chill about it.
Because I was sitting here thinking about what I was going to do, and I'm going to marry Bill Pullman. But for a moment, I was like, maybe I'll marry Billy Zane because he has the level of fame that you would be like really comfortable.
You could go out to dinner.
Yeah. But he has got enough money. He's got Titanic money. He's got Zoolander money.
Yeah.
Like he's got enough money that like
Nobody
would be
would
really
know
comfortable.
him, honestly, in the streets.
Today?
No.
And
in
run
these
into him.
streets.
If I saw him in the grocery store, I wouldn't look at him twice.
Right. Which like, so you could have a really chill like life with
Yeah.
a real chill, like good life. And you're right. Like he does seem like he has a good sense of humor. Like,
But I got that Bill Murray money. So
yeah,
I
true.
don't have to leave my house ever.
No,
Bill
you have an
Murray-
island actually.
Bill Murray, the thing about Bill Murray is he might have
Don't tell me anything
crossed.
bad about him.
Well, I don't know anything bad about him,
God.
but I mean, he's old enough. There might be something.
know,
So
I'm
if listeners
nervous.
know, I'm sorry.
I
But
know.
Yeah.
Oh no.
but the thing about Bill Murray for me though, the reason why I can't marry him is like he may have crossed the line into like too quirky. Like he's like a little like too eccentric.
I don't
you know
like
what I mean?
people that are just like, can you not take anything seriously? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want someone to have a good sense of humor, but at the same time, like people that are like so silly and quirky all the time, I'm like, I can't.
Well,
I
they
can't
always
do
tell
it.
that story about how I think it's Garfield.
Yes.
Yeah, but
they just told it again recently.
oh, was
They're
it on
doing-
Daily
yeah.
Zeitgeist? But yeah, like he got because he doesn't have an agent. Like, and so
just
people
does
just
everything
leave.
himself.
Yeah, they leave
Good for him.
messages for him on his answering machine, and that's how
Spill,
he gets.
leave
Yeah,
a message.
yeah, and that's how he picks up roles. So he didn't read the script for Garfield before they sent it to him, and he thought it was about something else?
No, he thought it was the Coen brothers. So it's the last name of the director was Coen.
That's it.
So he was like, oh, the Coens are attached to this.
Yeah. I'm in. So he didn't even read it. And then it's like, oh, you signed a contract to be a like orange tabby cat. And he's like, oh, okay.
All right.
Which tracks and makes sense, honestly.
I do appreciate about him. But there is just something about Bill Murray where I'm just like, this eccentricity would eventually get on my nerves. Like, I know eventually it would. It'd be fun for a while. I would love him as like my fun Uncle Bill. But
he's like, has he ever been romantically linked to anybody?
I don't know, which is weird.
I gotta know.
That's also like,
red flag.
What's going on there?
Well, now I have to look it up.
Well, it's like whenever I would go on Tinder dates with guys my own age who were like in their 40s, and I'm like, it's one thing if you've never been married before, but it's like if you've had like no long-term relationships, I'm like, I don't know if I want to break you in at 40. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was previously married to Jennifer Butler. I don't know who that is.
Okay.
From 1997 to 2008.
Okay.
And Margaret Murray from 1980 to 1996. So he's married for a long
married
time.
twice.
Oh, he had been in a relationship with Jenny Lewis and Linda Ronstadt.
Jenny Lewis.
tracks.
Oh, Linda Ronstadt? That's
Tracks.
cool.
Not Jenny Lewis. Like, let me see.
I don't know here. I'm going to pull her up.
No, that Jenny Lewis? Okay. Jenny Lewis, the
in
singer.
2015. Yeah.
She's like, okay, she's 47. I was like, she's like, I thought she was in her late 30s. Okay.
47.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old's he? He's like
He's older.
70s.
He's older.
He's old. Oh, just a little bit.
Okay.
And it's rumored that he hooked up with Crystal Stewart.
All right.
An encounter with Joan London.
I don't know who that is.
Crystal Stewart or Kristen Stewart?
No, Crystal.
Oh, okay.
That would be a plot twist. wouldn't
Kristen
it?
Stewart and
It
Bill
really
Murray.
would be. So, okay, I am going to marry. I'm going to do
Oh, she was Miss USA.
what you did, Christina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill Pullman. This is
Yeah.
quiet.
He just seems pretty chill. Like, I feel like he goes on set for when he needs to be on set, and then he comes back and we just like kick it and read the New York Times and fucking
I feel like
relax.
he is also somebody that has a delicious roast chicken recipe.
Yeah.
know
Yeah,
what I
he's
mean?
got vegetables in there.
Yeah, exactly.
But
And
you know
he's
what?
like,
He
the
would
secret
respect
is
me.
I put fennel in it.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
exactly.
oh, wow.
Yeah,
Good
exactly.
idea.
100%. Yeah. And he would respect my choice not to eat
It's
meat.
like, actually, I don't know if you know this. I was actually trained in Paris, France for a brief
well,
time.
actually.
He's not a one-upper. Not our Bill.
Not our Bill. No.
We
Suck it. What about that, Bill?
no.
No.
True blood.
Still happening.
We do have a new patron. So I
Yes.
want to give a shout out to Alyssa. Thank you for joining us on Patreon.
Yeah.
We're so excited to have you. And yeah, let us know if you have any suggestions for anything that you want to see on there. We have uploaded some video content that is just for patrons only. So if you want to get in on that, please join us over on Patreon.
Yeah. Well, cool. You guys want to take 5 minutes and we will be back with stories.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And we're back. All right, Christina.
All right. I'm going to let you guys be the judge.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you know I love this already.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cassie loves being in control.
Oh, you want me to judge something? I'm in.
Yes. I want you to judge to see if the person that is talking about or the person that they are talking about is the worst date.
Oh.
The
okay.
narrator or the subject.
Okay.
Who is
I'm ready.
actually the worst date here.
Okay.
This gives me kind of feeling. So we will judge this one. Okay. He says, met a girl in Walmart browsing music.
You know, I'm already. Stop it. Stop it.
Did we get the other date last week? Because I really feel like
we cannot. You have to stop it.
red light special.
When we hit it off, we had a mutual taste in music, at least. Ended up walking to the mall to meet up with her 7-year-old son, who was there with a neighbor and a friend same age as her son.
Time sounds like a nightmare already.
Why are you meeting her son already when you just met at Walmart?
At Walmart.
3 seconds ago.
A Walmart,
Yes.
I can only
You're not-
assume, is attached to the mall.
Apparently, because you walked there. It feels. I have.
Okay,
I don't
so
like this so
we're
far.
putting a dash mark under the subject for letting the
Yes.
they met a stranger in Walmart.
You're not meeting
they
my
both
7-year-old
like
son
Bonnie
right
Bear and they walked to meet her 7-year-old
You
son.
hope
No.
it's Bonnie Bear. It's
No.
probably not. It's
Garth Brooks.
fucking yes.
You still like Garth Brooks? I fucking love Garth Brooks.
I
God
too
damn
have
it.
friends in low places. Let's go.
He seemed to be a cool little guy. Spent 2 hours walking around. She mentioned her son liked me and wanted to
No.
invite me over in a few
No.
days to his birthday
No.
party.
No.
And I said, sure.
No.
I hate
No.
this. That is inappropriate behavior.
No.
You just
No.
met him.
No. Absolutely not.
Before we parted ways, she whispered in my ear that she liked me too and gave me a kiss on the cheek. I thought it went very well. They both appeared normal, dressed nicely, and no red flags.
There's
30 red flags.
You've got
already.
a couple red flags, yeah.
Yeah.
30 red flags right there. You met at Walmart. You met in
Maybe
a
that's where he
music
picks up
aisle.
chicks.
She left with you and seemed okay with it. She introduced you to her son. You're being invited to a family gathering for his birthday. I hate
Yeah,
everything.
that's not a first date. Like none of this. What is
hate
happening?
this.
Like
She whispered in your ear.
you're
"Ugh,
like a million red flags.
get out of my ear with your hot breath.
Fast forward 3 days later, I get to her house and she meets me at the door. Right away, I notice her appearance. Obviously, she hasn't bathed, washed, or combed her hair or brushed her teeth since I saw her last.
Oh,
Wait, 3 days?
Yeah.
Is that what? Oh,
It sounds judgy to me, especially
does.
like
Yeah.
somebody that like has a 7-year-old kid who I can imagine is like having a tornado in the house that you're living with and having to raise and everything. I don't like that.
yeah, but we got friends with kids and they can all make time to
brush their teeth.
change their clothes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I do agree that it sounds judgy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what are the chances she hasn't done any of that in 3 days?
That
That's
doesn't
not
seem likely.
true.
Yeah.
Like maybe she doesn't look
Especially
as,
when she's about to have a party.
right. She might not look as put together as you would like her to. That's probably more the case.
Right. Even worse, her house is a hellhole.
Wow.
She said I could leave my shoes on the porch, but I declined. I was afraid to take them off. Trash, including every type of waste mixed with rotting food, was everywhere, and paths were carved out through the centers of each room.
I don't like this.
Kitchen floor was a kaleidoscope of different food, and a cat was playing with a dead mouse in the corner.
No. Is he making this up?
This feels dramatically fake.
It does,
It
right?
feels-
It feels over the top. It feels
Yeah.
like somebody has a house with like a kid in it and there might be like toys and stuff.
But at the same time,
I mean, not
But-
that it can't happen, but it's
But
just
yeah, at the same time, I have seen hoarders. I've seen hoarders,
Mm.
and this isn't that over the top for like.
sure.
Sometimes when you watch that show, I'm like, how? Because in my head, I'm like, how would she be okay with having a party or having anybody over? Like
Right.
that's what is in my head. But then you watch
feel
hoarders, and you're like, they have like sometimes they don't care. So
Really?
you're like,
I always feel like anytime I've seen like hoarders or something, they like don't want people to come to their house.
a
They're
lot
really
of times,
embarrassed.
a lot of
true.
times they don't.
Yeah.
Most of the time they don't. But occasionally you get that person who seems just kind of like, this is
Yeah.
how it is.
I mean, I had a friend growing up. Her house was a fucking shithole, and
I
she
did-
wasn't a hoarder. It's just they never fucking.
They
cleaned.
didn't
It was
take care of anything.
disgusting.
Yeah.
I had a friend who, and I didn't know until later after watching like hoarders. I was like, oh my gosh,
That's what
That's
that
my
it.
is.
friend's mom was because there was just like newspapers everywhere, and my friend was in a wheelchair growing up, so she was really only confined to the back room, and then she could get out the back door right there, but she wasn't able to go in the family room or the dining
Yeah.
room or anything because there wasn't a path large enough
I
for
can't
her
believe
wheelchair.
she was allowed to live there.
Well,
can't
they
do
probably didn't know. Like, because she probably wouldn't have been.
911.
Honestly, yeah, no, I never knew. I was just like, oh, this is just a little apartment. We can bleep that out, but yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then he says, as we go upstairs, she points to the landing where she has a makeup table set up with a mirror. And I shit you not, she says, when you move in,
Nope.
I'll put this in another spot so you can have a place for your stuff.
Nope.
moving fast food. She's like, I'll introduce you to my son.
No.
In the first 2 hours.
I hate
and now
this.
you're moving in.
But some people are like this because and occasionally we will tell stories like when we do Tainted Loves and stuff, and they're like, they met and he moved in 2 weeks later and they got married in 3 weeks, and you're like, what? And it has to be the same kind of thing where it's like, we met at Walmart and then I invited him to move in, and the only thing that's different is that you were talking to somebody who was like, sounds good.
Yeah.
I hate this.
Yeah.
I fucking hate
It's
this.
awful. Well, yeah, because I'm so cynical and skeptical.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
The final push for me over the edge was when she showed me her bedroom and asked what side of the bed I wanted tonight.
Oh, okay.
How presumptuous of
Tonight.
you. Tonight.
Thankfully, my opportunity to bail happened shortly thereafter. Her friend showed up but forgot to bring some wine. I asked, where's the closest store to get it?
I'll go.
She said down the street from the direction I came earlier. I said, oh, yeah. I saw that place. I'll go get some. So I got in my car, drove down to the store, just continued right by it and went home and considered becoming a monk. Now, I told this story to my friends and they died laughing. Now, when one of the single ladies in our circle has a date, they always tell her if it goes badly, do like Terry and go for wine.
Oh, man.
Is it an everybody sucks here kind of situation,
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah.
We're going to ESH.
100%. I hate
Yeah.
this.
It's
Yeah.
an everybody.
Across the board.
Everybody sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Judged accordingly.
Okay.
Ding, ding.
All right, my turn. I had a date that started normally. It was a first date. That was a good first sentence. Strong first sentence. It was a first date, pizza and beer at a local place, small town. My date worked in one of the stores everyone frequented and was quite well known. He was handsome, single, and had a British accent.
Oh, that's why he's well known.
Quite the catch. Of course, he's in a small American town and he has a British accent. Yeah, everybody
know
knows that
that guy.
motherfucker. Everybody.
Oh, it's British Dave.
Exactly.
British Dave.
Exactly. During our date, 2 girls came over to say hello to him, which is, first of all, already rude. If you see somebody on a date, like going up and being like, hi, Dave, it's pretty fucked up.
Hey, British Dave.
Yeah. They had interrupted our conversation and then suggested we follow them to another local place for drinks. My date asked if I wanted to do that. Trying to be polite, I said, okay. You're on a date.
Never go to a different location.
You're on a date. We walked to the next place, leaving our cars. These girls totally monopolized the conversation, one in particular. When it got late, we left to walk back to our cars. The talkative girl immediately put her hooks into my date and took his arm. Her girlfriend engaged me in conversation.
That's not very...
That's
not very, like...
I don't like that.
That's not very women supporting women of you.
It is not.
No, it is not.
I don't like that at all.
No. And yeah, the
All these
girlfriend
dates suck so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The friend of the girl like is clearly her wing woman. You know, they had a conversation beforehand where they're like, you talk to the girl, like you keep her. So
Yeah.
that I can.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
I would not do that.
Me
Just want you to know.
Because
I love you guys.
I love
and
you
I would
guys
never
too,
do
but
that.
that's fucked up, and I wouldn't feel comfortable with that.
No, it would be. Yeah. No.
No. Okay. And we started to walk back to the cars. We got back to the corner where the cars were. I stood and watched with disbelief as this talkative girl and my date exchanged numbers. I was only standing there because I had his jacket.
Oh.
How awkward. Like, you're just like, how awkward. Horrible.
Well, and also, as much as we were like, kind of like, fuck, you know, like I can't believe those women did that. I can't believe fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
You're on a date.
You're on a date. That's really shitty of him.
I guess better to find out now
also true.
that British Dave is a fucking man about town.
Because
he's a cunt.
yeah.
British Dave is a cunt.
Right, cunt.
Well, yeah, you're right. Like, as a woman, I would never do this, but the fault really falls on, it's your date's responsibility.
That's true.
To be like, I'm on a date, like, you know, and if things didn't go well and you felt a vibe with that other chick, you can find her later. It's a small town. Like, but you're on a date with someone right now. Like, that's not cool. Even just the walking with her is like not cool. You have a date. I was only standing there because I had his jacket. Looking back, I wish I had dropped it and left on the ground and left. But
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Coulda, shoulda. But that's not who I am. When she finally left us, I gave the jacket back and headed for the car. I had already written him off. What a jerk. After I was home, he texted me about how he wanted to see me again. I texted back
that... You barely saw me then.
Right? That was quite possibly the worst date I have ever had. No, thank you. He texted a few more things about how sorry he was. Then it turned to, well, maybe I wasn't worth it.
Okay.
I turned off my phone and... I turned off my phone and went to bed. The next day, I got a text saying that it must have been the drink. He was so sorry. Could he make it up to me and cook dinner that night for me? We had a mutual friend, and I asked her if I should give him a second chance. Long story short, she said I should. I did. We dated for 2 years after that, and now we've been married for 2 years.
What? British Dave redeemed himself.
That was an unexpected twist.
Look, if that was my soulmate, sorry. Because I wouldn't have given him a second chance.
Wow. Yeah, you wouldn't.
No. If that was my soulmate, it's
you
too
lost
bad.
him. He's gone.
He lost himself. Gone. Goodbye. Like, because what a fucked up thing to do. Like, I'm glad it worked out for them.
Fuck
if
you,
they're
British
happy,
Dave.
if they're
Unless you're happy,
I'm so glad. But like,
wait. I'm so glad. Eyes rolled out of your head and back in.
No, because listen, I'm like, not convinced.
And also,
like, who does that?
It's
That's
kind of a sad first date story. You know what I mean?
It's
It's like, oh, how'd you meet mom? It's like, well, let me tell you.
Let me tell you.
I was
Dad
not
was
only
hitting on another chick the whole time.
I was not only a piece of shit to her on the date, but then after the date, I told her that she wasn't worth it anyway. Because that's what he texts. He's like, when she was like, I don't want to see you anymore. He's like, well, fine then.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry. We're not going on another date after that. I don't give a fuck if like you were drunk and it turns out you're actually a really nice guy, Dave.
Anyway.
I don't know. He's got a British accent.
Yeah.
That's really why she went on the second date. Let's be real.
Like, well, what am I going to give up this
She's
accent?
like, I live in this small town. I'm never going to meet another British accent.
He's the only British accent here. This is it. This is it for me. Okay, guys. Well, part of my story happens in the parking lot too.
Oh God.
So this guy starts out. He says he seemed like okay at first at the start of the evening, but after we got to the restaurant, he seemed really distracted. Our mutual friend, who had suggested the whole situation since I was the only one without a dinner date, told me, "Oh, you guys will get along fine. He's crazy."
No.
That's not.
Oh no. He's crazy.
You guys are you're gonna love him. He's crazy.
What do you think about me? Do you know what I mean?
No,
I'm like,
totally.
Am I the drama? Am I the crazy friend?
Yeah.
Like that you're like, you're going to love him. He's crazy.
Oh, okay.
God.
Also, two crazy people. Definitely.
No.
Like,
It does not negate.
you cannot mix that.
No, that's
You're
danger,
gonna
Will Robin.
level that dinner party up.
Somebody's flipping a table. It's a fucking Real Housewives of New Jersey evening.
Yeah, somebody's peeing on the wall out back. It's, you know.
Well, toward the end of the meal, he excuses himself, and I figure he's going to the head or something. Cue conversation. No, I don't know what's wrong. He seems a little off. He's usually a lot more interactive. Maybe he's having a bad night. Existential crisis, etc. Sorry, man. I just kind of shrug it off. So basically, he's been asking like his friend. So I'm filling in the stuff that's not here.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Okay.
He seems like he's asked his friends, like, what's going on with this guy?
Yeah, he seems
He
off.
seems a little
He's
off.
weird.
Yeah, he's off his, usual game. So I just kind of shrug it off, win some, lose some, After 15 minutes, he doesn't show back up to the table. He can't have ditched up. We're in fucking Burbank. There isn't shit around here without a car.
It's true.
It's not a walkable neighborhood.
No. Where are you going to go?
I figure I'll just go have a cigarette since I'm done with my sushi. So I pop out and light up. I'm standing there and off in the corner of the parking lot, away from the lights a bit, I see someone messing with a car.
No.
But it's kind of hard to make out.
No.
Stop
I
it.
am not here for carjack crazy.
No. It's like 9:30ish in LA. So I'm fully intent on just going back inside and telling an employee that someone's trying to break into a car outside. I'm not going to play hero. And just as I'm about to flick my cigarette away, I recognize his shirt.
No.
Oh no.
Is my fucking date a car thief? What the fuck?
I'm sorry.
He's like gone in 60 seconds.
You know what? That's when you call your fucking Uber. You don't even say bye to your friends. You're like, that's enough.
Oh, you got to do it for like the gram or TikTok at least. You'd be like, just video it. Be like,
I wander over in that general direction, trying to not make too much noise. And I kind of get the impression that he's sort of making this repetitive hip motion. What the hell?
Oh, no.
Did he see someone he knew in the restaurant and they snuck outside? Is he getting a blowjob?
Oh?
No clue what's going on at this point. And finally, I get close enough to see that he's got his tackle out and he's going at it, frauding his dick up against the rear quarter panel of this immaculate Porsche.
No! Cassie, is he fucking this car?
He's fucking a Porsche.
My jaw drops. And even though I've seen some shit, this is a new one on me. I sneak up behind.
I think I'd rather him be stealing.
I'm going to be calling.
Fucking Porsche.
You are making an emergency phone call to your therapist.
He is rubbing his dick and balls
on a Porsche.
On a goddamn Porsche.
Why? Listen.
I sneak up behind him.
We've talked about this before. If my friends
strange
hook me up with someone like this,
I swear
I
to
am
you.
like,
fucking a car.
what do you think of me?
How
Who
dare you?
do you think I am?
Blocking.
Who do you think I am that you thought this was a good fucking puzzle piece for me?
No.
You're like, you know who I think Keegan should be with?
The guy that fucks cars.
The car fucker.
Yeah, you know, car fucker.
Car fucker Carl.
Car fucker.
I sneak up behind him and say his name loudly. Carl! It's not his name, by the way. It's just his ex. He jumps and turns just as he goes off.
No.
And shoots
No.
jizz all over the passenger side window.
Oh my God. If I had a Porsche and I came out to see fucking cum on the window.
Well, you wouldn't even know. You'd be like, what is that? What is that?
Is that bird
Did
shit?
a bird shit on my car at night?
Oh my God.
I just can't help but start laughing my ass off. I would not. I'd be screaming. The way I would be
Screaming is so much funnier.
Get it off.
What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing, dude? What the fuck is happening?
What the fuck is wrong with you? He's feverishly trying to get his junk back into his jeans, and I'm just trying to catch my breath. I just shake my head. He has the good grace to look completely mortified.
I want to know what
both
happened in
agree.
your love map growing up. Where did the wires get crossed? Where you were like,
I
I
love
see
cars,
a hot car,
but I
must
love
pull my
cars.
dick out.
Like
Like
something to do with like maybe Matchbox cars or
maybe,
something?
like what happened? Like, did you watch porn at the same time as you were like playing with Matchbox and then you were
Wheels.
like,
Oh no.
right?
He's like, I really love cars.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I really love
I
cars.
really love it. You go to his house, it's just like Porsche pulled out of like car magazines, just Porsche posters.
Oh no. He just really likes cars, guys.
I don't know. He just really likes them.
We both agree that, yeah, he probably should get a cab. I turn down his money and tell him I'll cover his meal. It's worth it for the story. But yeah, see you around. I walked back
Or
in.
not.
Yeah, no, thank you. I walked back in and just told my friends that he had to go. And I'll explain later, obviously.
That's so nice.
When we weren't in the restaurant. And somewhere someone
The way I would have
whose
told y'all
car
in the
is
restaurant.
now covered
Oh.
in DNA couldn't overhear. I did not call him the next day.
I see. So he didn't want to say it in the restaurant because he was afraid that whoever owned the Porsche would hear them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't hold it in.
Oh,
I would not
I'd be like,
be able to.
You guys, the guy that you fucking hooked me up with just fucking come
He was fucking a car outside.
shot all over the fucking car.
Oh my God. Yeah, you
Screaming.
couldn't take that guy to like NASCAR.
Oh no.
See, he's got good taste in cars. He's like, I have a very
Porsche,
high end
yeah.
taste. He's like Porsche.
Yeah, he wasn't like beating
if
it off to like a
Ew.
What if it was
Toyota
a Corolla? Yeah, exactly. Like, what if it was?
What if it was like a Porsche Cayenne? It's like a family car. He's like, "Ugh."
Oh
that's awful.
my God. Wow. Yeah. No, there's no way I would be able to keep it in. I would absolutely have to immediately, if not
The
sooner.
whole fucking restaurant would know.
Yeah.
Immediately.
That guy's like,
Yeah.
my Porsche. Runs outside.
I'm writing.
So, and if you live in Burbank and you had some weird bird shit on your car after a sushi night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope they got out there pretty quickly because how fast does cum harden? I feel like pretty fast.
I've never seen it against a window, so
We
I'm
can do an
not
experiment.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Let's scientific theory this
Yes,
out.
exactly.
Just really present a hypothesis, and then we can test. Wow. I didn't even know what to write for the description for your date, so I just put date loves cars.
Date loves cars.
Really
Date loves cars.
Really loves cars.
Like loves.
love.
Yeah. Want to take 5 and then we'll come back with the tainted love.
And we're back. Christina, regale us.
Yes. I have got a story for you. I think I feel like I need to bring up visual pictures because that really kind of made it for me.
Oh, we're going to elevate the story
Yes.
with some visuals. I'm excited.
Yeah, and I got mine from Dateline. It's one I had seen before, Secrets of Birchview Drive, if you want to look it up.
I just listened to that.
There you go.
Dateline's titles. I love it. It's always like secrets of or like
Plot
uncovering.
twist.
Yeah.
And you're
The
like,
way I listened to it and I was like, oh, somebody's definitely
Someone's
going to
gonna
do
do
that
it.
story.
I don't know that I've heard this one.
yeah, it's one that we're gonna have visuals.
Okay, I'm ready.
Great.
I'm ready for visuals because I only listened to it. So I'm
Mm.
interested. Okay.
Ellington, Connecticut. Let me set the scene for you guys.
Connecticut is a vibe always.
It is
Yes.
always
Yeah.
a vibe. So aerial footage, drone comes in. You see a neighborhood. There's like 4 houses, and they're each on probably like a good 2 acres of land.
Okay.
So they're neighbors, but they're not like neighbors
yeah.
That's
on
how I
top
like
of each
it.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like this rural community with really nice houses, and Andrea Canning does this one.
Oh.
So she is interviewing. Yes, truly an icon. We stan her. She's interviewing some of the neighbors, and they were like, we were like the 3 amigos. We were best friends. We actually
We're the 3 best friends that anyone could have.
and they were like we loved Connie would always like would come through the garage and just be like, honey, I'm home, to her friends or whatever. Like that's the level of friendship that
someone's
they were
cheating. That's what's gonna happen. I know it already because I'm just like, we were all best friends. We spent all our time together, and I'm like, somebody's fucking somebody else's wife or husband.
Oh man. Well, I mean, so it's like kind of like isolated. There's like woods at the back of their property, but not like thick woods. It's also like winter too. So there's snow on the ground. Things are pretty like open and you can see, and it's a close knit neighborhood. Okay. Right. So set the scene.
I mean, beautiful. This sounds like my ideal neighborhood. I'm like people close enough that like would hear you if you screamed, but also like you have
They're
enough
not on
space.
top.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. So this is 2 days before Christmas, December 23rd, 2015. One of Connie's neighbor besties all of a sudden sees like squad on squad on squad car outside of Connie's house. She's like, what the fuck? So she's calling Connie, trying to be like, what's the tea? Like, what's going on? She's not picking up. They finally learn that there was a home invasion next door. Rick, Connie's husband, had been tied to the chair and beaten, and Connie lay shot dead in the basement.
Oh no.
So no one saw anything. Cops and like dogs are like going and trying to sniff someone out because if this is a home invasion, someone came in, tied this guy, beat him, all kinds of stuff, and then shot somebody. They're like looking, there's snow around and everything.
Right.
They're like, okay, where did this
Footprints.
intruder get off to?
Right.
Yeah. So it's like really confusing. Meanwhile, they rush Connie and Rick to the hospital. Connie's dead on arrival. Rick, meanwhile, has some blood. He has like an injury to his head, superficial injuries, right? So cops are like, bro, like what
Some
happened?
side eye happening.
Rick's like, Rick is in the hospital bed and he tells them this story. This is Rick.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
He looks familiar. I'm wondering if I know this. Okay.
Like personally?
Right.
I wonder if I know him. I wonder if I know Rick.
him.
No, I wonder
This is
if.
a better picture. Here you go.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Understood.
this guy's in the hospital bed. And he tells him that he woke up in the morning. Connie went off to the gym. The school bus picked up the kids. He was on his way to work. He's most of the way to work. And he's like, oh, shit, I forgot my laptop. So I go back. And then I also like hear there's like an alarm going off, like my house alarm notifies me. So I emailed my boss and told him like I was going to be late. I came back in. I heard some noises happening upstairs, but I thought it was the cats messing around with stuff. And I went upstairs, and in our bedroom closet was a huge man over 6 feet tall. And they're like, what would he look like? Give a description. Like, what's his skin color? And he's like, I don't remember. He had a voice like Vin Diesel.
Okay.
So cops were on the lookout for a 6 foot tall man with a voice of Vin Diesel.
So basically, it's just Vin Diesel.
It's just Vin Diesel. Yeah.
Vin Diesel
You're
broke
like
into your
a
house.
tall man who sounds like Vin Diesel. It's like, that sounds like Vin Diesel. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I
they
mean-
call Vin Diesel's agent and they're like, hey,
Where were you?
was Vin did he happen to be in Connecticut between?
I have to ask this question because maybe I'm wrong. Like maybe I'm incorrect on this, but like unless the person's completely covered, meaning like they're wearing like a balaclava and gloves and like
you
everything.
would still be able to be like, oh, his skin was tan, his skin was white,
because
his skin was.
I feel
yeah.
like I would be one of those people who gets so shocked in the moment that I can't remember details. Like I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know. Like if you asked me to like give you a description to like a sketch artist for his face, like maybe I wouldn't be able to figure that out. But like I feel like our brains pick up on those big details so quickly,
right.
that I'm just like, unless you're going to tell me that they're
He was
completely
wearing
covered.
a mask.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, I don't know about like hands and everything else. I just still feel like that's a detail that you would pick up, right?
I would. I mean,
No,
I feel
I've
like
never
I
been
would.
in a situation, and I worry.
Yeah.
I worry that I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking because I'm like, maybe it's me, maybe like I'm wrong on this, and like there's data that shows that like you don't remember that kind of thing. But for me, for better or for worse, I feel like we pick up on differences, especially so fast that I'm like, I feel like I would know. I don't know, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're like, okay, all right, well, that's really strange. So they're like, okay, so then what happened? He's like, oh, the guy like got me or whatever and like had me like downstairs. And then I heard Connie coming in through the garage. So I screamed to her, someone's in the house, get out, run. And instead of running out, she ran into the basement because we have a gun down there. But he's like, once the intruder got down there, I went to chase after the intruder, but then I just heard a loud bang. And then all of a sudden the intruder was there and he had a bunch of tools like a blowtorch and
happened fast.
and zip ties.
That happened fast.
So
Where'd he pull those out of?
zip tied Rick to the chair, blowtorched him, cut him with a box cutter and hit him. But somehow,
So this is the intruder with no plan. He's like, I'm just going to use all the tools I have.
like, I'm going to MacGyver your kidnapping or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, this is the story. And so then he's like, but then I fought off Vin Diesel and I was able to call 911 before I passed out.
Sir.
So cops are like, all right, this is a lot to take in. They're looking around the scene. They notice that there's like a wallet out in the backyard, like away, like where an intruder would have run off into the woods. There's blood all over the house. There's a gun near Connie's body. And Connie was like in her workout clothes. She had a Fitbit on and she had her cell phone on her. So they're like, all right, so we'll just kind of process this. Now, neighbors were like, this makes no sense. Like Connie and Rick's house was the go-to spot. They have a very tight marriage. Like her friends were like actually jealous of her. They had met in college. They had 2 boys who luckily were in school when all this happened. But they were just like, they were a cool, chill couple that constantly hosted parties and nothing seemed to be wrong. Neighbors were like, we actually do know who did it. there's a contractor that they're suing, and it's got to be him because Connie like bought that gun specifically because she was terrified of this contractor.
Okay. I don't remember what happens, but I remember this part. Okay, let's go.
Yes. So cops are like, okay, well, this is easy to check. They check the contractor, and they're like, he's like, yeah, I was literally on another job site. So that's like an easy removal. So like, great. That checks out. There's no footprints in like snow or anything like that we can find showing an intruder. They bring a dog who is like going from the house to the wallet to pick up the scent. So the dog's like, yeah. He's like, smells the wallet. He's like, yeah. And then they're like expecting him to keep going out into the woods. And then he's like, yeah. And he runs around to the front of the house and pings on Rick.
He's like, this motherfucker right here.
Yeah. And they're like, wait, okay, dog was confused. Bad dog. Like, come on. Like, let's do this again.
Dog's like, first of all, how dare you?
How dare you? I'm a trained motherfucking professional.
I know what I'm doing.
I don't tell you how to do your job. Don't tell me how to do mine.
Exactly.
It's like, go fuck yourself. So they're loading Rick into the ambulance or whatever, and they have the dog do it again. And this time, instead of going up through the front porch, motherfucker gets into the ambulance. He's like, no, I fucking told you. Is this
what
dude?
Did I say?
This motherfucker right here. He's now,
yeah.
The other thing that kind of like irks police a little, gets under the skin, is they're questioning him, and they're like, hey, what's the state of your marriage? And he's like, great, actually. It's really, really good. They're like, are you having an affair or anything like that? He's like, no, not really. This is like, Connie has a friend named Sarah. She did a reading at our wedding, and Sarah's having trouble like conceiving, and IVF was really expensive. So Connie suggested we just try to do it the old-fashioned way.
Connie suggested it?
Yeah.
It was Connie's idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what he, straight-faced, that motherfucker right there, straight-faced, told cops that she was like, you should do it the old-fashioned way.
Wasn't this in The Big Chill, that movie?
Oh, I don't know.
That was one of the couples in The Big Chill, was like,
you should fuck.
yeah.
So you can have a baby.
She needs to have a baby. It's like, they watched that movie and they were like,
yeah. And I'm like, what real person ever would suggest that?
I don't know. I think the 70s happened, but
I mean, this is 2015, the year of our Lord 2015.
I'm not going to say that it would never happen because, like, I don't know, relationships are different and people have different relationships and like different ideas about what relationships mean and stuff like that. But given
I'm looking
what's
at
happened,
I'm looking at everything and I'm saying,
it's unlikely. It feels unlikely.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, Sarah, good for her, was able to actually like get pregnant. So it was a very, very pregnant girlfriend and now a dead wife. And so police are like looking at him like,
wait, so
side-eye.
she was his girlfriend.
Well, that's what they're calling him.
Okay.
But and yes, she was. But yeah, it's
was she a neighbor too?
Just a friend. No.
Okay.
I wish she'd been in the cul-de-sac. Can you
Oh
imagine?
my God. The tea. It's Desperate Housewives.
It is.
Energy. Yeah.
It really is giving that. So like a year goes by. The police have that information and they're just like, well, we're pretty sure he did it. Yeah. I mean, but we need more, I guess, in order to bring this across the finish line. So they finally feel like they have enough to combat some of the weird stuff that is in the house. Like, for instance, so for every clue, there's like an anti-clue, right? So the clue one is the dog who sniffed it and was like, yeah, you dropped that wallet. Clue two is like this burglary that supposedly happened. Nothing was taken. Like,
right. Well, it was
totally
but they
staged.
found it. Didn't they find it in the garage?
No.
Oh,
no.
Sorry. Yeah, mixing it up with a different one.
Well, yeah, because how many times does that happen on like Dateline where they're like, there was a burglary, but nothing was taken, they found it later, or it's just like, what is this? Have you never seen one true crime documentary?
Honestly.
None.
Once in your whole fucking life.
Then they're like, so Rick says all this stuff was happening around 9, but he didn't actually call 911 until after 10.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, so you weren't fighting with a blowtorch for like an hour, dude. Like that's
No, he's trying to
the
figure out how to
timeline.
tie himself up to a chair.
But they did find like 6 identified different DNA in different touch points where the burglar would have been. But I'm also like, these
They
motherfuckers
had
constantly
parties.
hosted parties.
Yeah. The number of like fingerprints you would find in my apartment.
Oh,
Like, come on.
yeah, exactly. And then lastly, they had Connie's Fitbit information, which totally blew his story out of the water.
I got to
In
get a
that-
fucking like Apple Watch or
Oh,
something.
100.
I need to like,
So it was counting her steps. So it literally, like, they could see how many steps she took out of her car and like steps into the house and stuff. And then she like was on Facebook at one point. So it's like completely negates his story. So then at trial and stuff, he's trying to change his story to fit different things and be like, oh, I was hit on the head and I was blowtorched, so I can't remember.
Blowtorch.
But I mean, they finally arrest him in April of 2017. Trials delayed until finally the date is set for March of 2020.
oh,
He's still out on bail, mind you. So then it's delayed again.
You know,
And then his lawyer died, right?
Yeah,
And then he
his
had to get-
original lawyer died. He had to get a different lawyer. He finally goes on trial in April of 2022, and it takes the jury less than a day to give him a guilty verdict. Like, he did it, obviously. And yeah, I think for me, the reason why I wanted to tell this story is just like, she had such close friends, like neighbors that would literally walk into her house. And yet still, it's like you never know what's going on behind closed doors. Something that looks like the most ideal, perfect marriage or whatever can...
no one
blow
knows
up
what's
on you,
going
and
on
it's
in a
just terrifying.
relationship except the people in the relationship.
True.
I don't
That's
even think
just the
Connie
truth.
knew what was going on in
No,
the
truly.
relationship.
Yeah.
And that's what's so
Well, I
scary.
mean, she did suggest that he sleep with.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
of course.
We know she
Yeah.
did that. That's facts.
Yeah.
That's what a good friend she was.
But I mean, regardless of that, like, no relationship is without problems, and like, most people don't air their shit like that. Like some
Right,
people do,
yeah.
but like even to their friends, like people don't always like share all of the stuff that's happening in their
Right.
relationship.
No, I'm pretty private about that kind of stuff.
Me
You
too.
know, just because I'm like, you can't take it back, and I don't want people to have like, I don't want to be that person that's just airing all the bad shit to my friends,
Exactly.
and then you think, you know, I'm dating a piece of shit or
Exactly.
whatever.
And then what's that make me look like?
Right.
Oh, you'd stick around with somebody like that? You're like, oh, I love to be treated like ass.
But you know your friends. I mean, like
Yeah.
we would never feel like that. Like
I
that's,
know, but
that's not how we would feel about that situation. But like regardless, it's just like people don't. They just you just don't.
you don't know what you don't know.
You just
Yeah.
don't know what you don't know, and like people don't share everything, and like, so how would you know?
And also, I feel like this story is a cautionary tale for people that think that they're smart enough to get away with something like this.
Yeah.
Because like,
Well, it's always the dumbest motherfuckers who think they're smart enough to get away with shit like this.
you
Always.
don't know how to stage a burglary. You don't know how to
a
like,
blowtorch, sir,
Sir.
Rick.
Sir, when you just heard your wife
My
shot,
guy.
the man has a gun, he gonna go find a blowtorch?
Well, and then also, yeah, then why, if he did shoot them with their gun or whatever, why didn't the intruder then bring the gun back up with him? He
Thank you.
brought instead a
blowtorch.
blowtorch
No,
and
it
random
makes
tools.
no fucking sense. That's the thing.
Doesn't make sense,
I mean, because
yeah.
here's the thing. It's easy for me to sit here and be like, criminals don't know how to criminal. You know what I mean? Because
As I eat my Cheetos.
because exactly. Because all I'm doing is like watching Dateline. I'm sure there are people getting away with this shit who are like
100.
smarter
the
than this.
solve rate is
Yeah.
real low.
Right. But like every time, has anyone ever gotten away with a staged burglary?
Oh, that's literally
gotta be
what
so
9
hard.
out of 10 Datelines
Yeah.
are people that try to do that.
When I was like, oh, they found it at the garage. No, not that one. Oh, got it.
Staging
Yeah.
a burglary has to be so difficult. Like, why would you attempt it? Why would you attempt that?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be so hard.
But because the thing is too, is obviously you're trying to steal stuff that you really want to keep. So it's like, it's the dumbest thing anyway.
It makes no sense. It's I'm
So yeah, just play, coulda, woulda, shoulda.
yeah,
Consequences to it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, what are you guys watching this week?
I am not watching anything other than True Blood. And to spare you talking about True Blood, I had to drive to work all week this week. So I've been listening to a podcast called What About Holly?
Oh,
it's a true crime podcast about, and it's a serial, like kind of like,
nice.
episode. And they found these two bodies, a man and a woman in the middle of like outside of Houston, Texas. And for 40 some years, these were just Jane and
wow.
John Doe's. And
did they do like family genealogy?
Wow.
So they did.
I love that stuff.
And then when they found the family was like, oh my God, we always wondered what happened to them. Where is their daughter? And they're like, excuse me?
Oh.
There's like a 42-year-old daughter somewhere that they were like, where is this girl? Like, what happened to her? So it's the story. Yeah.
Text me that because I would love to. I would love to listen to that. I have just been reading mostly. I finally read Where the Crawdads Sing. I loved it. It was really great. I got really engrossed in it. Now I'm reading I'm Glad My Mom Died.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I'm about
you also
halfway
read
through.
The Color Purple.
I read The Color Purple. Yeah, I'm really on a streak this January, so I really haven't watched a ton of stuff, and I
did
haven't
finally finish White Lotus, though,
I did.
which I appreciated.
I was like, listen, I was like, we have to finish this. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of having to like scan away every time I see anything to do with White Lotus because I'm so scared of spoilers. So I'm like, we're finishing this shit. Wow. I agree with you. Initially, I was like, I don't know. Maybe like I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this season as much as season 1. When I first started watching season 2, I was like, I don't know about this.
Right.
It's better. To me, it was better than season 1.
I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
It was more interesting to me. It actually gave me less anxiety than season 1. I was more intrigued than I was in the first season.
Think more too. And definitely it sparked more debates about like, especially the relationship stuff, the Harper and Ethan and the Cameron Daphne stuff. Yeah.
Daphne, that woman who played her got ripped the fuck off by not getting a Golden Globe nomination.
I completely agree.
I've never seen her before. Her performance was stunning.
Yeah.
In the show. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Hope to see more of her.
Me too.
I really do. I enjoyed watching her.
Yeah.
She held her own against like Aubrey is like amazing. I love Aubrey Plaza.
Yes, she's incredible. But you know that casting directors were watching that and salivating over her performance because it was so good and so like subtle in a way that like she's one of the characters who had to be the most like her. You had to be able to read what she was thinking on her face.
Right.
So much more than what she had such good subtext.
Yeah.
More than almost any other character. So yeah, I really loved White Lotus and I would recommend all those books.
Well, I've got a treat for you.
Uh-oh.
So I've been a little down in the dumps, really just overwhelmed and stuff for the beginning of this year due to a lot of stuff. But so I treated myself.
Yeah.
Treat yourself.
I love it.
To 2 movies I had not seen before.
Oh,
Oh my.
And they are
I'm nervous.
Me too. Wait, what?
Paddington and Paddington 2.
Oh my God. I watched Paddington over Christmas break.
I've never seen it.
Cassie.
I know, and I
is
had a Paddington
fucking
growing up. I loved
magical.
Paddington.
magic. I haven't seen the second one.
Magical.
The first one, my heart felt like it was like the Grinch. It was like growing 3 sizes. I felt it. I was like, that bear is the cutest CGI bear I've ever seen in my fucking life.
The movie 2 is really funny. Is a really good movie. It's so the funniest thing to me is like how like everybody just takes it in stride that it's a bear.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it's just
it's
like
so cute.
normal.
Just talking bear. Everybody's just like, this is fine.
This is fun.
A talking bear that eats marmalade.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and it's
It's
a raincoat.
fucking adorable. It reminds me a lot. I feel the same way after I watch like Ted Lasso. Like, you know what I mean? Just like
Wholesome.
And
yes.
you know, this year, 2023, not to make any like sweeping generalizations, because am I going to listen to that
Yeah, true crime.
true crime podcast that you recommended? Yes, I will. But I do want to lean in more into that. Just like humanity's not all shit.
Right.
Like we can lean into some like nice shit.
You know why
nice.
humanity's not all shit? Because there were a ton of people that worked on Paddington.
That's right. And they worked to make it magic.
And it is an absolute magic. I personally, Paddington 2 is rated higher than Paddington.
But you like Paddington better.
I like Paddington better, but they're both really, really good. I mean, that's the reason why they have like 98%.
I'm watching Paddington 2 like
whatever.
this weekend. I'm gonna do
the way that it doesn't make sense that I've not watched Paddington.
No, it doesn't.
I'm like, I grew up with Paddington. I had a Paddington bear.
We watched it with you in the building.
I know, but I
you had to go nine-nine.
I had to go nine-nine. Because I had to work the next morning. But
it's so funny. I was also a little high when I watched the first Paddington, and I was laughing so hard at some of the stuff.
It's
it was
the cutest
just
thing
adorable.
I've ever seen.
So fine, I will watch it.
Please do.
Well,
did you like that Shape of Water moment? Like, because Sally Hawkins is in both Shape of Water and Paddington, and when the room fills up, I was like, "That's a Shape of Water moment."
Yes. I also really loved how much fun Nicole Kidman looked like she was having as the baddie in that. Yeah. Oh my god!
Amazing. Okay. Sorry.
And Hugh Grant is in the second one. So good. Anyways, if you guys have something that we should watch, if you've had a terrible date that you need to get off your chest, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com, and we love you so much. Cheers.
O'Reilly. ¿Necesitas limpia parabrisas? Los profesionales en autopartes de O'Reilly Auto Parts te pueden ayudar a encontrar opciones específicas para tu vehículo y hasta te los pueden instalar gratis. Ahorra $10 al comprar un par de limpia parabrisas Bosch Focus. Además, recibe puntos dobles o rewards. Visita hoy mismo O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is a Glass Box Media podcast.